Welcome to this DaVinci Resolve Fusion node breakdown. Today's node is the Beauty node. So we're going to jump into Fusion and we're going to be covering the Beauty node, which is another DaVinci Resolve effects that we normally use in the grading tab, but it's also available within Fusion. And this is a studio version only effect, so only those with DaVinci Resolve Studio version will be able to use this Beauty node. So the Beauty node basically lets us smooth out and kind of beautify skin tones. You can use it for anything, but it's primarily meant for skin tones. So we kind of want to isolate the skin that we want to affect in here. Because if we apply it to the overall face, it's going to affect the eyes and all the lips, the hair and everything. So we just want kind of the skin in there. So let's go ahead and isolate that. And I'm going to bring in a bitmap. And there's tons of ways to do this. This is just how I'm going to do it for this one. And on my bitmap, I'm going to choose reds. So I'm going to kind of dig in here and get some of them reds to come out. And that'll be good. And I'm going to add a matte control. Input this into my background. And first, before I do anything, I'm going to bring in a polygon node and input that into my garbage matte. And on my garbage matte, I'm just going to matte all this stuff out that I don't want in there. So if I look at our matte control node, nothing's coming in because this needs to go in the background. And on my matte control, I'm going to probably just blur it up and make sure my garbage matte's in there. And I might expand it a little bit and change my gamma up. There we go. That's good enough for right now. So then we're going to bring in our Beauty node. So Beauty, I'm going to add it. I'm going to input our media straight into our Beauty node. And I'm going to go from our matte control into our mask. So now we're masking that off. So if I look at our Beauty node and we go up top, we have three options for our operating modes. And one of our options is automatic. So I can just come in here and just start adding amounts to it and changing my scale. And your scale, what that does is change the scale of the texture that's in there. So if this is all I needed, I would be done and we're finished. But there are two other modes, and one of them being advanced. Now, under the show split mode, this isn't going to work within Fusion correctly if we have a mask plugged in. So if I hit show split mode, you can see it's kind of crazy. But if I disconnect our mask, now it's showing up properly. It doesn't do that when we use it in our color grading tab. But within Fusion, if we have a mask plugged in, it's only going to show those four on our masks. So this split screen, what it's showing is it's showing our the smoothing that's being applied in this one. This one's showing our texture recovery. This one's showing our feature recovery, and this one's showing our final output. So if I come into our texture threshold and I start changing it, you can see our texture threshold is changing. But we can see all this within the main node as well. So if I shut this off, we can still preview our smooth, and we can preview our texture, and we can preview our recovery areas. So under the advanced tab, under smoothing, we have a smoothing threshold, which is going to determine the threshold for that smoothing amount. And we have a diffuse lighting, which is going to change how that lighting is being reflected off of the texture within our image. So if I drop this down, you can see this is kind of being anti-diffused. And if I bring it up, it's diffusing that light even more to the point that it starts breaking. Same with our smoothing threshold, we can bring it to the negative, and we can bring it all the way up. So if I shut this on and off, you can see the difference between our with and without the Beauty. And let's actually go ahead and just double screen this up, and we're going to bring our Beauty over here in our original over here. And let's fit these. So under our texture recovery, what our texture threshold is doing is it's either growing or minimizing that texture. And if we uncheck this preview, we can actually add texture to the positive and to the negative. So this is going up, this is sending our texture backwards. So we can play with our texture threshold to get the texture look we want. And then down here under feature recovery, it's the same thing. If we have features we need to recover, we can use this to recover them. And if we preview our feature recovery, you can see what that's recovering. And then our last option under operating mode is Ultra Beauty. And this adds a few more options for us. And under the smoothing, we can select our method, whether it's flattened or filtered. We can change the strength of our filter method. We can change our filter radius, which is going to increase or decrease that radius. And this is going to change our edge threshold of our textures that are being picked up. And if we use the flatten method, we just have a strength button to flatten out those textures. How many levels of flattening it's going to do. And then the quality of our flattening. And then under our detail recovery, it's pretty much the same as the other one, but we do have a couple more options. So we can change that detail recovery strength. We can change the size or the width of our detail recovery. So if we preview our detail recovery, we can see the strength of that, the width. We can also change the gamma of that recovery. And we can blur the recovery as well. And down here, these checkboxes, like I had preview recovery on before, but we can also preview edges and the details to see what's happening with those edges and details. Under our texture recovery, if we preview, we can see what our texture recovery is doing. It's bringing in that texture back. We can change the scale of that texture, and we can change the detail edge balance. So if I shut this off, you can see what that is doing is bringing in some of those details back. So once we get our look, under the Ultra Beauty, we have the addition of adding grain back in. So if we zoom in and we turn it on and off, we can kind of see what type of grain is going on in the background. There's really not a whole lot, but if we needed to, we could bring grain back in to fix where that grain has been removed from our softening. And here we can change the size of that grain, the softness of it, as well as the saturation. And the trick would be just to bounce back and forth from the original to the new one to make sure that gray matches, which it doesn't, but that's what we would do. So that is the beauty node. I will see you in the next node breakdown.